Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are calling this one the Public Safety Day. So I'm now being joined by Corporal Wesley Engle from the LaGrange Police Department. Welcome to the show, Wesley.
Glad to be here, Alton.
Well, you know, Wesley, our time always gets away when you come on. But you know what? I know that, because you guys are busy now because school's been back in session now for about a month. And there's, more traffic on the road. We seem to be, we got the buses, you got students driving, and of course you got your general traffic there. And I know that you're one that's really on top of everything that's happening. Tell us a little bit about your role in the traffic division, first of all.
I'm a field training officer. I train the new officers that get hired.
Okay.
And how to work wrecks and direct traffic and traffic enforcement, which is, it's one of the things we have to do is enforce the traffic laws, because if we didn't, we'd have a lot more wrecks than we have. Last year we had almost 2,500 wrecks just in LaGrange, and so we're trying to step up and try to get people, to try to pay more attention when they're driving, because, even though you might not have a wreck or I might have a wreck, it still affects us because Georgia's a high-risk state. So even though we hadn't had a wreck, the insurance companies are raising the premiums, and some people, premiums get so high they probably can't afford the insurance.
That's right. I felt that pinch this year myself.
And a lot of people I've talked to this went up, and that's due to the fact, well, wrecks keep going up. So everybody says it's an accident. It's not really an accident due to the fact that somebody has committed some type of traffic offense that has caused a wreck. And a lot of it is for failure to yield. Okay. Like might come to a stop sign thinking they got enough time and just pull out in front of somebody and get hit. Or they're changing lanes, thinking they don't really look clear enough to make sure they change to go from the left lane, the inside to the outside, or outside to the inside. And a lot of us, like disregarding traffic lights. When the light turns, you're approaching a green light, be prepared, because it could change to yellow. Yellow doesn't mean speed up and try to get through it. It means slow down your green movements, prepare to stop. To stop so that it's giving you a little heads up, it's fixing to go to red. And then you have people that disregard traffic lights, run through them, stop signs, and don't stop, or not familiar with the area. And it's a two-way stop, and they just go right through the stop sign. So a lot of that is the reason for wrecks. And following too close, so people are in a hurry, and they probably should have left earlier, or the person they're behind is not in a hurry, and they're taking their time, being cautious, and the other person's riding a bumper. Then what happens? Right. Yeah. Or the guy in front of you, he's in a hurry, and you're in a hurry, and he slams on brakes, but don't hit the other car, but you end up hitting him. That's right. So it put you at fault for following too close. That's most of your traffic violations that happen at wrecks. And so we try to teach the young officers how to invest. They do the basic mandate, but we go into more detail. So, because every wreck's different, and to find out who's at fault in the collision, because you want to make the person that's at fault be accountable for it, because then again, if you're accountable, you're gonna have a claim. That means your insurance goes up. So, and then people, a lot of people, used to deductibles were $100, $250. Now most of your deductibles are $5,000, $1,000, $1,500, because people are trying to get the lowest cost they can on insurance. So we're trying to educate people to slow down, and then the cell phone law come out, which is a lot of people being distracted. They always had the one, if you're under 18, you couldn't talk or text, and you can't text or get emails or Snapchat and all that. But they actually come into the hands-free law, which means your body cannot be supporting you any kind of way. You can buy Bluetooth, which a lot of your cars are coming with Bluetooth. And if you notice, the Bluetooth operation is on the steering wheel. That way you can keep your eyes on the road and look out for people that pull out in front of you or to that effect. So we're actually doing, I've wrote numerous tickets for that already, due to the fact people are still holding them up to their face, on the phone, texting. Even if you're stopped at a red light, you can't text, because you're still in operating mode of the vehicle. Right. And if you stop and figure everybody starts texting, the red light turns green, you're going to start beep, beep, that's right. Then you're holding up the traffic, and you're impeding the flow of traffic.
Let me ask you a question, because we're talking about traveling on the roadways and those events that cause a lot of the accidents. Let's say we have a power outage. We've seen sometimes in our community we have a power outage and the lights are not operational, and you may have a flashing red or either flashing yellow. How should traffic treat those?
Well, the flashing yellow, you want to slow down. Okay. Way below the speed limit. In case somebody comes to a flashing red and they don't know what to do, and they run right straight through it. The flashing yellow means you need to proceed with caution. The flashing red means you need to stop, just like a four-way stop or two-way stop. Make sure it's clear, then proceed. But a lot of times the people that have the flashing red don't know what the other one's got. And if they're all flashing, all four of them are flashing red, that means you treat it as a four-way stop. Now, if the power goes out and there's no lights whatsoever, you would treat that just like if it was an intersection with a stop sign. You know, so we try to tell people that because, you know, we've been having these crazy storms lately where 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, boom, have a massive rain. And there were several cars yesterday that had wrecks due to the fact they hydroplaned because they're going too fast for the conditions.
That's right.
And what it is even though it is a speed limit is 45 or 50 or 35, and you lose control, it's because you're going too fast. Even though the speed limit says whatever it is, sometimes you have to slow down due to the fact that, like yesterday, it was just so much rain. The drain is taking as much as it can, and water builds up on the highway. What happens is your tire loses friction with the road, and that's when you start sliding.
Yeah, and that's an uncontrollable skid.
Yeah, because you no longer have that friction that's keeping your tires rolling on the road. You're actually sliding on the road.
That's right. Absolutely.
And a lot of times when it's been dry, like, you know, we went 2 or 3 days without, you know, people didn't realize when it first starts raining, you got water, gas, and oil mixing on the road. So it's going to be slippery. You're going to need to increase your following distance. Especially, you know, if you're following somebody, you want to increase your following distance, something like that. So we're trying to get people to be aware of that.
Okay. And talking about driving on the road with the school buses back on the highway, I know there was some new school bus laws that came out, Wesley. Talk about that for us if you don't mind.
That come out, you know, used to, the old one was if it had a median or concrete barrier or something in the middle, to kind of give an example is like when you go past Troop High, they got the grassy median, or like on the interstate. Or when you get in a lot of your metro cities, they have these concrete barriers like on the interstate. That's when you wouldn't have to stop. Now they've changed the law that if there's a turning lane, like on New Franklin Road's a 5-lane highway, you got a central turning lane. So if the bus is traveling, say, northbound, the southbound can continue on. But we need to be aware of that because some people might not be aware of the law. The old law was you would stop. Now, be prepared with the school bus season. Some people might not be aware the law has changed, or out of habit, automatically hits the brakes. Then you got somebody hitting them that knows the law has changed. So we want to tell people that. And, you know, like this morning when I was heading to work at 6 o'clock, I seen kids at school buses. It's dark out there. You know, they're wearing, you know, it's starting to be a little cool. It's going to be cool next day. They might have coats on or dark clothes. Be aware of the kids in your area that catch a school bus that early. Because, you know, children are not going to think about, you know, they're used to playing and people watching for them. They're not going to be as conscious as a car as a grown adult would. So, and be prepared for the school buses because like last year, you might not, you say you went to work at 6:30, there might not have been a school drop on your way to work. So the first couple of days of school, people were running late due to that fact because now they got a school bus. And the school buses are regular. They have to stop, and they might have a new school bus driver who's not familiar with the route or a substitute filling in because somebody hadn't come back because maybe they're out for medical. Or they might have retired or something because you've seen it all over town, they're hiring for school bus drivers because they need more school bus drivers, which that's a tough job, you know, and you got to be very good with kids.
That's right. And talking about, you know, all those things, new route, new bus driver, and all those very things, you might even have a new school in your route to work too.
We got that new one on South Davis, which is a Clearview. It's a nice school. And, you know, a lot of these parents are not, you know, if they might went to Whitesville, well, there might be kids that didn't go to Whitesville. There might be some other kids in another area. Now, you know, when you go down South Davis Road, you're not used to that coming there, and the state hadn't got no signs up to let people know. So for somebody out of town's there, so you need to give yourself enough time to get in there and be cautious because when you're making that left or shooting across the highway, the speed limit's 55 out there because they hadn't put a school sign up. So people are still probably traveling 55, and also out of habit because they haven't had a school there, so it's all new to everybody. So and a lot of times people are taking kids to school as early as 6:30 or 6:45, and right now it's still dark. But in November, I think we're going to be setting the clocks back an hour. So now it's going to even be darker. You know. Earlier they'll be going to school.
That's right, absolutely. And you know, you're talking about, you know, school bus safety and watching out for our kids because we want to keep our kids safe and also the public too as well. Now, I know you were bringing to my attention before we came on when parents pick the kids up from the school, you know, and I know they got to try to keep the line moving. The kids hop in the car. What's the first thing they should do?
Buckle up.
Buckle up.
We see them now, and since we've been out there at the new Clearview trying to get people used to it, you know, directing traffic. And there's so many kids I see that they got their book bags on, they ain't buckled up, and the parents will take them to school, which are leaving house to school, which, you know, any given time you can have a wreck.
That's right.
And they're not buckled up that morning. And, you know, if you're not buckled up, now they got a school bag attached to their back. So now when you send them to the window, you've added extra more weight to them. And then when you pick them up, I mean, I realize they can't let everybody buckle their kids up in line, but you'd always go get out of line, pull to the side, buckle your children up because children are precious. And, you know, if you have a wreck and they get hurt or killed or something, then you're going to ask yourself, why didn't I take that few extra minutes to buckle my child up.
Absolutely. Well, again, all of these are just safety and common sense things that we want the public to remember. I mean, it's not that you guys want to be out there writing tickets. It's all about safety for the individuals, the drivers, the kids, the students, and the general public. And I want to go back to that hand-free law, which passed in July, because you were talking about, even having the mount, and some vehicles may not have the hand controls. So even when you have to reach up to it, can individuals reach up to activate or make a call at the mounted phone?
They can.
Okay.
But be aware of when you're doing that, because you are taking your eyes off the road briefly to hit it, or try to use your speakerphone if you got it in the mount.
Okay.
Some phones, there's all kinds of phones out there. Some are actually better on some things. Some don't have as good as speakerphone. Or take your headset and put one in there. You don't want to put two in there. Due to the fact if you're on a conversation, you're hearing both ears. Somebody could be honking the horn, trying to let you know something. An ambulance or a fire truck could be coming through, and then also now, or somebody's honking the horn because you're about to hit them, or they're about to hit you,
right? Okay.
Stuff like that. So you would want to keep at least one ear open so you can hear.
Okay.
Or if you have a blowout or any kind of mechanical error, you'd want to be able to hear that so that you didn't have a wreck. But you want to briefly touch it, but you don't want your body supporting and talking like this, like everybody had to.
So that's when you get in trouble.
But you can buy Bluetooth that actually go on your visor if your car don't have it.
Okay.
I don't know. When they first come out, Walmart had a bunch of them. I imagine they probably reordered them because they probably sold a lot. But it's actually on your visor. You can hit the Bluetooth and attach that to your phone.
Okay.
So that'll work, or your speakerphone. But yeah, you need to have an amount or something to that effect.
Okay.
So we're trying to get people. Then that was a lot of distracting. People's on the phone. And you get consumed in the conversation, so you're multitasking. You're trying to talk on the phone and drive.
That's right.
And especially like the other day, it was pouring down rain. You need to concentrate on that because now the conditions have changed. So, but we're trying to let people know about the school. And then, like I said, there's more traffic now, where a lot of people didn't get up early in the morning and kept carry the kids to school because they was out for the summer. You got a lot of stay-at-home parents or work night shift and take their kids, so you're gonna have a lot more traffic in the mornings because of school, because a lot of kids ride to school, and stop thinking if the parents didn't take them, how many school buses you'd have out there if they were all picking them up back in the day. Most parents didn't take kids; they rode the school bus. It would take longer to have more school buses out there.
As we close out, Wesley, give me just 2 seconds. Blocking intersection, because we do have now the school buses, more traffic. Just one more time, just a couple of seconds. Talk about blocking up intersections.
Well, blocking intersections, it creates a traffic jam. Like Morgan and Greenville, there's only so many cars can fit there. Well, if you was on the other side of the intersection, it would kind of irritate you or bother you if somebody went up there and blocked the intersection where you had to sit through another cycle before you could go down your travel because somebody was being an aggressive driver, as I call it, and forcing their will of driving on everybody else. So give it that distance. What happens if you might be in traffic and a fire truck's trying to get to your house, it's on fire, or trying to get some of your family member, a medical staff, AMR, and you're delaying it because they're having to try to figure out how to maneuver around you, then 2 or 3 seconds or 2 or 3 minutes could affect somebody's loved one.
Absolutely.
So, and it could be one of your family members that you don't know is happening at the time.
That's right. So bottom line, don't do it.
Don't do it.
All right. Wesley, as I said to you earlier, our time always gets away from, but I do appreciate you being on the show.
Well, glad to be here.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more City Week in just a moment.